Check this out. A bartender on the South Shore startled this morning after feeling something shaking. Turns out it wasn't the alcohol. It was an earthquake. And listen, that guy didn't spill a single drop either.
Now, parts of southern New England felt the shaking this morning from the earthquake just before 10:30. The epicenter was just off the coast of southern Maine in York Harbor. But folks as far south as Connecticut reported feeling the earthquake.
We have team coverage tonight, beginning with NBC 10's Eli Rosenberg live at the Weston Observatory, where they track and monitor earthquakes. Eli, I felt this thing this morning. What are the experts saying?
Well, as you can imagine, Glenn, it has been a very busy day here inside the Weston Observatory. As you mentioned, that is the epicenter right there. But this earthquake really felt up and down the coast here, all the way into Boston and surrounding communities. You mentioned the South Shore as well. They have been tracking earthquakes here at the Weston Observatory on the Boston College campus since 1928. So when all that happened this morning and the shaking stopped, they ran in here because this is where the seismograph is, and they saw where it had registered right on the seismograph. And talking with people up in York, some people had pictures fall. Others said it felt like a jumbo jet passing beneath them. It felt like a 747 flying below him, David Gallagher said, his business shaking as he jumped up to see what it was. Meredith Maeda did too.
It sounded like construction vehicles or some sort of truck plowed into the home at every angle. At about 50 miles an hour.
Things started shaking around 10:22 this morning, in town and on the beach. It was enough to send Haven Hatch and her coworkers running at the Viewpoint Hotel in York.
We kind of all just did one of those are you guys hearing and feeling this? And my boss was like, get up and get out of the house. And he thought that a furnace or something was exploding in the basement.
It wasn't just York. The earthquake strong enough to be felt at O'Toole's Pub in Whitman, and all across Boston, too. The U.S. Geological Survey saying the earthquake had a magnitude of 3.8 on the Richter scale. The epicenter about 6 miles southeast of York Harbor with a depth of 8 miles.
I came in here and I took a look and I said, oh, yeah.
Dr. John Ebel, senior research scientist at the Weston Observatory, calling this a once-in-5-year event.
It's a reminder that we live in earthquake country. Not nearly as active as California, but we do have regular small earthquakes here.
And here inside the observatory, this is another seismograph. You can see right there the moment the earthquake happened at 10:22 this morning, 3.8 according to the experts. A good reminder that if you're inside when one of these happens, move away from walls so nothing can fall on you. If you're outside, move away from buildings and homes. Chimneys likely the first thing to fall. These experts say expect tremors in the next day or two. Live in Weston, Eli Rosenberg, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, Eli, let's bring in First Alert Chief Meteorologist Pete Bouchard. Now, Pete, we don't get these a lot, at least not on the East Coast where we are.
Last time we had it was about 5 years ago off of New Bedford, a 3.6 we had just off of in the Buzzards Bay area. You can see the shaking was pretty hard through the granite, through York and up through parts of Sanford. And then it kind of reverberated up into the White Mountains. There were some reports of some light to moderate shaking there, but then it kind of just faded out as you went down into southern New England. Definitely felt here, but also across Vermont and as far back west as Albany, New York. Aftershock probability is not all that great. We have less than a 1% chance of having a 5, a 2% chance of having a 4, and a 13% chance of having a 3 or greater over the next week or so. So, yeah, again, tremors. And again, this doesn't mean the end of the world. And the fact that we're headed to more earthquakes, we do typically get these across New England, maybe not to that size, but certainly 1s and 2s.